Hello, people. Boy, yeah, boy, I look good, don't I? Okay, anyway, here's the deal. I bought a 2021 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack from Carvona on February 2nd of this year. Did all the paperwork, got approved. You know, you know how they are. They got their set prices. That's all there is to it. That's what you're going to pay. And yeah, I'm trying to rebuild my credit because divorce and stuff will definitely do that to you. So here's the deal. Did all the paperwork on the second and so forth, and there's one delay after another. I did not receive the vehicle until the 15th of February. Well, the car showed up, dropped it off. I was tickled to death, man. My beautiful dream car. There she is. Guy unloads it. We do our thing. I, uh, I, uh, got the car, took it for a ride. And as soon as that engine got up to operating temperature, every rod in that thing was knocking. You could hear every rod bearing in that thing. At idle, warm, cold, you couldn't. So we turned around and come back, and the driver was already gone with my trade-in. And I traded in a really sweet Dodge Charger that was well tuned, and she was a nice car. I'm pissed off about getting rid of that more than anything. At any rate, I called them that same day and told them the issues. They had no brakes. The brakes were grinding like crazy. It had been straight piped. No catalytic converters were on the vehicle. No mufflers, no nothing. The straight pipe from the manifold back. Okay, so I called them that day about it needing an engine. And the first thing they said was, "Oh, it's beyond the 7 days, so you have to deal with the warranty company." I'm thinking, "Ma'am, I've had this car for an hour. Oh no, you purchased a car on the second. Your 1 week trade-in thing is expired." I go, "Well, how can it be expired if I just received the vehicle?" But they go off the time. Okay, whatever. At least they did this time. There's no way in hell they did their 150-point inspection. Because the brakes were literally grinding down to nothing. I mean, I even have, the old parts right here in my hand, and as you can see, you know, these pads were grinding. There was nothing left. These are the front brakes. Nice Brembo brake system. You can also see these the original brakes. Got the Mopar numbers on them and everything. They told me they weren't going to do anything about that. That was on me because it was beyond the 7 days. Again, the conversation ensued. I hadn't received the vehicle for 2 weeks after the purchase date. Okay, anyway. The next day it was on a rollback heading to a shop of their choosing. They picked them and said I wouldn't have to do a copay if I did that. So, all right, fine, take it. $300 tow bill to get it towed to their shop. I never got reimbursed for it. They told me to pound sand on that. Well, it's part of my extended warranty contract that I paid $3,500 for. They told me to piss sand. Okay. It's there for 2 weeks in the shop getting the engine put in it. And of course, I'm not allowed to say who the shop was. So we'll just play by the rules, and I won't do that. So anyway, I get the tags and stuff in the mail. So, I had tags, and they'd already tagged the car in Pennsylvania and gave me tags before I even got the car, which I thought was, odd. But at any rate, so it's down there for 2 weeks, and they pop up with, "Oh, it needs brakes, by the way." Yeah, I knew that. And they got the motor in it. I picked it up. I didn't make it 100 yards from the shop, and the heater hose blew off, and $100 worth of antifreeze that I provided for them this all over the car. It just made a mess. So I took it back and said, "Look, I'm not driving back down here again. Fix this car now while I'm waiting." Well, they did, and they used some bullshit about the original clamp being bad and so forth, and yeah, whatever. So they put a hose clamp on it, filled it up with straight water, by the way. And this is Pennsylvania in March, so it's still pretty cold. So I had to deal with that when I got home. All right, so we went on and on about the brakes and the other things that were wrong with it. And the text messages we have back and forth, they're just brutal. They've basically told me to go pound sand and basically daring me to sue them. And I can't. I don't have the money for that. I wish I did, but I don't. But all right, so we move on here. I wound up having to put tires on it too. Well, now the transmission's screwed up in it because the release bearing, the throw-up bearing, is leaking. So hydraulic clutch is leaking and not fully disengaging the clutch. Well, of course, the synchros are gone in the transmission, which may have been that way before I got it, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't know that because I didn't get to drive it more than I did. Which, so I took it to the dealer. There's no way I was taking it back to where I took it, where they had to put the motor in it. So I took it to the dealer, and it was deemed that the transmission was screwed up. There's chunks of metal in it. When they pulled the drain plug, there's chunks of metal and brass come out of it. And that stuff's gone through all the bearings and all the sliders and, everything. So the transmission is garbage. They denied the claim, told me to go pound sand, saying that the clutch that they say they don't cover, but on my contract says they do cover, was the reason for the transmission going bad, so they're not going to cover it. Okay, $8,000 for a new transmission from Dodge. And it's that's the end of that. I just kind of lost my cookies. And me and Carvona got back and forth. So I talked to their chat bot for a bit. And of course, the first words out of its mouth were, "We're sorry your claim was denied." And they already knew it was denied. I don't know how that works, but they did. So, and they told me that they were no longer going to cover anything on the car and blah, 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 and so forth and so on. So my $3,500 extended warranty for 3 years or 36,000 miles is basically trash. Wipe my ass with it, kind of thing, because that paperwork is NFG. It doesn't matter anymore. So they was talking with them, and they sent an email saying that, if I wanted to, I could get my money back for the warranty. That I could cancel it, and they'd refund my warranty and credit it to the loan amount on the car with the interest that amount, $3,500, would have incurred. All right, well, let's do that. So I sent them the paperwork here for my Challenger to cancel the contract. The contract was $3,500 plus the interest, whatever that works out to. I'm not a genius. The lady I talked to last night in the chat room, a real human, by the way, in writing said that I would be getting close to $4,000 back, like $3,900 and some change for the warranty thing. Well, I sent this paperwork off to them, and they got it, and they read it, and they go, "Yep, we're going to cancel you and refund the thing, blah, blah, blah. $2,500 is all they're going to give me back. Of, Carvona for you. I'm pretty sure Shaquille O'Neal wouldn't appreciate them using his name to sell people stuff like this, old Hack-a-Shack. Yeah, he might not like it, but then again, maybe they're paying him enough that he don't care. but I doubt that very seriously. I don't think Shaquille O'Neal is a good man, and I don't think he would approve of such activities by a company with his face and name on it. So that's where we're at right now. Over $700 for brakes because this has Brembos on it, and new pads and rotors, and like $680 for the good stuff. Now this is a scat pack. This is a 200-mile-an-hour car. It doesn't take the brakes that the old lady's Charger did. I mean, big old brakes. Anyway, they won't do anything about that. And instead of honoring the warranty, they just gave me back part of my money and canceled my claim. Now, I sent in that paperwork to get reimbursed for the brakes and so forth. And once again, they told me to go pound sand because it was after the original days after purchase. And I didn't get the car for 15 or 13 days, excuse me. Yeah, from the 2nd to the 15th. Yeah, so the 7-day thing expired before I even got the vehicle to my possession. Now, in PA, you have to have a safety inspection every year on your car. And it's not like West Virginia where they check if the lights works. They actually put the car in the lid, take tires off, check, they check everything. It was failed inspection because of the straight pipe exhaust and no catalytic converters. There's no converters on this car when it was delivered. No mufflers, just straight pipe. I'm an old gearhead. I'm a hot rodder from way back. Build my own motors and stuff like that. It was just loud. It didn't sound good. It was just loud. But they were nice enough to leave the active exhaust on it. But which actually still works, believe it or not. So here I'm sitting with this car that I'm making $920 a month payments on, with a bad transmission and with the horrendous vibration in it somewhere. I'm hoping it's just the transmission itself that's doing it, but I won't know until I change the transmission, which I really don't have the money to do right now. So in the yard it sits until I get the money together. It's like this big corporation stuff, and I didn't know that they were like this before I bought the car. You hear bad things about used car salesmen. You just do. They can't please everybody all the time. And the used cars catch a lot of hell for stuff they have no control over. That's just the way it is. Sorry. But this vehicle was deliberately sold to me with full knowledge that it was a piece of crap that was not safe to sell me. It was not legal to sell me the vehicle because of the emissions tampering and so forth. They legally couldn't sell me the car, and safety-wise, they couldn't sell me the car. And just for the freaking morals of selling somebody a $39,000 car, you expect stuff to work. Like, I've been nice at $39,000 and I expect to have brakes. Well, guess what? Didn't get them. So that's kind of where it's at. I can't afford a lawyer. So this is the first time I've ever done anything on YouTube like this. I'm hoping it gets out into the world. I hope people see it. I really would like to get this out to the public, and maybe shame them into doing something about this. But they don't care. They're a big company. They got lawyers. Hell, I'd probably wind up getting sued now for speaking the truth. But I didn't sign any waivers or anything. I didn't sign any orders, no gag orders or anything like that. So I guess I'm safe. But that's kind of it, And if you're looking at getting a car from Carvona, I suggest getting the warranty the $3,500 extended warranty, which supposedly covers everything bumper to bumper, your air conditioning, your transmission, your radiator cooling system, wiring, lights, all that crap, supposedly covered under the contract. And if they don't do anything about it, you can cancel it and get your money back. So you got to be super freaking careful with dealing with these people. They lie, they steal, they screw people religiously, and then you to do anything about it because they figure that most of the people that are buying from Carvana are doing it because they have to. And that's pretty much the truth. And I'm one of those guys. I'm retired. I get a pension check once a month. This was going to be my retirement car that I was just going to enjoy for my retirement. It has been nothing but a headache. And it just made me an emotional wreck, even. Oh my God. Well, poor, the old lady's like, God bless her, but, I know there's nothing I can afford to do. Yes, they deliberately sold a car, an unsafe, unlegal vehicle. They sold me that. They knowingly sold me a car that needed a motor and didn't have brakes and needed a bunch of work. I call that theft by deception. I don't know, maybe in the world of money and big lawyers, it isn't, but it sounds like theft by deception to me. I was told that it was a one-owner car that had never been crashed. I found out that is also a lie. I tracked down the original owner of the vehicle. The vehicle was totaled in 2023. Okay. I did a title search on the vehicle. It's totally different than the title search they did. They show the car being out of Georgia and everything else. I show it being from Alabama. So Alabama, it was purchased new in 21, according to them. It was actually purchased new in Georgia. In 2023 in Alabama, another title was issued for it. I don't know why, unless they sold it and another title was issued. And on December 19th of 25, it's tagged again. Another tissue is idled, except this time it's in Montana. Now, I lived in Montana for quite a while and messed with cars out there. They don't do salvage titles and stuff out there. They don't do inspections. It's just a title. That's what you get back. It was titled there until the 25th of December, or Christmas Eve, 4th of December. It was titled back to Alabama again. This is the fourth time it's been a title produced from Alabama for this one car. Then I bought the vehicle in February, and it was transferred to my name here in Pennsylvania. So now they got a Pennsylvania. So they washed the title to get rid of the salvage thing on it, or the fact that it had been totaled. Cost over $3,000 to fix the car. I mean, literally driving it down the road, and pieces of the car were falling off as I'm going down the road. The grill and stuff was just glued in. And these idiots does such a bad job at this. They didn't even bother clear coating the bottom of the bumper cover above the splitter there. There's no clear coat. And you can see all the damage behind it, where they repaired the old bumper cover and everything, and the tabs and the headlights being in there. Anyway, then to fix the core support, put an AC condenser in it, or the cooling module, as they call it. If you've ever had to work on one of those, you know how much fun that is. So now you got working air conditioning at least, and the car looks beautiful. but that was money out of my pocket. My insurance company called it previous damage, so they wouldn't cover it under comprehensive. So, yeah, and the insurance on this thing is outrageous. If you're going to get one, you need to be prepared, no matter who you get it from. You buy a Scat Pack or a Hellcat, or anything like that, your insurance is going to be high. And I got a perfect driving record, and I live out in the boonies, and I'm still paying almost $300 a month for just the Charger, the Challenger, just the Challenger. And I got like 6 cars tagged. So you know what my insurance bill looks like every year. But at any rate, we're getting off track here. They sold me a car that had been totaled, lied to me about it. They knew about it. They lied to me about it. They washed the title so it wouldn't have an R title anymore. Their title search is coming up with a car from Georgia, where it was originally sold and stuff. And I know it was originally sold in Georgia. I talked to the original owner. It was bought and sold there in Georgia. And I would have maps of that. I don't know how Carvona can, but dude, it's just blatantly lying, forging documents, official government documents, forging them to wash the title. So that's kind of where we're at. I obviously am not going to be able to do anything about it. They gave me my money back for the warranty rather than fixing the problem that was covered. I mean, it was my dream car, dude. I'm old enough. I had a 70 Challenger, 440, 4-speed drag pack car, Dana 60. I loved that car. This thing is nothing like it. My 70 was scary. This one, it's so big and heavy. I mean, it weighs a lot and feels totally different than that. And where my 70 was scary, this car can be frightening. I mean, you get your foot in this thing in the wrong spot and you will be facing the other way. You will be driving looking out the passenger window. This thing does not screw around. Even with the 315s they got on the back of it, there's 11 inches of rubber on the ground. It still just melts them. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun little toy for my retirement. But how it is, I think I'll stick to my 02 Dodge pickup. I'm just gonna keep driving it. At least I know it's gonna start. So that's where it's at. I hope somebody sees this. And maybe we can get enough noise going on the internet that Carvona LLC will, maybe decide to make this right. Or, maybe Shaquille O'Neal will see this and, offer a helping hand to a fan. Who knows? But at least I feel better now. I've done my part to help protect you, the consumer, from these predatory loans and shit. Oh, I tell you, the loan interest, 21%. So as soon as my credit score gets up here, I already talked to the bank. As soon as I get my credit score up where they want it, I'm refinancing in my bank, which will be hugely better, less interest and so forth. But that could be a problem too, because that car, since I got it in February, has lost $9,000 in value. They offered to buy it back from me for $27,000. A $39,000 car, they said they gave me $29,000 for. So yeah, I expected depreciation on these things because everybody wants Hellcats and stuff. So there's a lot of these on the market. In fact, there's getting to be a lot of Hellcats on the market because of the new stuff Dodge is coming out with. So yeah, the market's going to be flooded and the prices are just going to keep dropping like a rock. So it's one of those things, kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm stuck with it, which doesn't bother me too much. I just get tired of putting money into this car that was supposedly not wrecked, in perfect running condition, passed the safety inspection, and I can just get in and drive. Oops. So this is my first live video thing here. Let's see how it goes. Maybe somebody will see it, maybe somebody won't, but we're going to give it a shot. So please have a good evening. Get yourself a car that you want. But if you want a Hellcat or a Scat Pack or something like that, you might want to wait a few months because the value is dropping like a freaking rock. And it's yeah, one of those things you might want to wait. So okay, have a good day. Hopefully you'll get some comments on this and somebody will have an idea what to do. Bye bye and buy a Mopar.